Many women, if not the most, find peace and safety in a Sigma male. An alpha male is indeed a tastier treat, but often, sadly, don't really last long. A Sigma male, on the other hand, is a good listener, understanding, and loyal. In this video, we will give you 7 tips to attract a Sigma male. We wrote actually 21 of them, so split it in 3 parts. This is the first part. If you're interested in psychology and philosophy, mostly Sigma rules. If you are interested, we highly recommend you to subscribe and stick with me. You will like the video in between. Tip 1. Independence with balance. Independence doesn't mean isolation, nor does love mean losing yourself. To attract a Sigma male, the key lies in balance. Showing up for him while standing strong in your own life. A Sigma male values people who can walk beside him, not outshine him in competition or lean too heavily on his strength. Love for him is not about dependence, but about 2 complete souls choosing to share their journey. This balance shows in small, thoughtful ways. Split the bill sometimes, not to prove a point, but to share the weight. Give him small, meaningful gifts, not flashy displays, but gestures that say, "I see you, I value you." Spend quality time with him, but also protect your own world, your hobbies, goals, and self-sufficient nature. When you invest in yourself, you create a presence that naturally complements his reserved and self-sufficient nature. Psychologically, balanced independence fosters mutual respect. It shows emotional security, which is far more attractive than neediness. Sigma males are drawn to those who don't cling but choose to stay. Stoicism reminds us that freedom lies in self-control, not being ruled by extremes of emotion, attachment, or validation. Be there for him as a partner, not a shadow, and let him know he's important without compromising your own light. True connection is not about filling gaps in each other's lives. It's about walking together as equals, where both grow without suffocation. Tip 2. Respect his space. To understand a Sigma male, you must first understand the value of solitude. For him, time alone is not loneliness, it's a necessity. Like the stillness of a deep forest, his solitude recharges him, helps him think clearly, and shapes his identity. If you want to attract him, respect this need without trying to fill it. Give him space to breathe, to retreat, and to exist on his own terms. This doesn't mean he doesn't care for you. It simply means he values balance. If you're constantly in his space, physically or emotionally, it can feel suffocating. Learn to enjoy time apart and trust that this distance is not rejection, but part of who he is. Instead of chasing him, use that time to nurture your own interests, dreams. The Sigma male is drawn to someone who is equally comfortable with solitude and sees time apart not as abandonment, but as an opportunity for personal growth. From a psychological standpoint, relationships flourish when partners maintain their individuality. Studies show that time spent alone fosters creativity, emotional balance, and greater satisfaction in relationships. Clinging too tightly to someone, on the other hand, can trigger reactance, a resistance to feeling controlled or trapped. Sigma males, being independent by nature, are especially sensitive to this. The Stoics remind us that control is an illusion. We can only master ourselves. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." By respecting his space, you demonstrate emotional maturity and confidence. You communicate that you trust his need for distance and that you're secure in the connection you share. Let him come back to you on his own. When he does, he'll do so willingly, knowing you're someone who understands him, someone who doesn't fear the silence, but welcomes it as part of the bond. Tip 3. Be real. Being real. Authenticity is a quiet power. It doesn't shout for attention, yet it commands respect. To attract a Sigma male, you must show up as your true self, unfiltered and unapologetic. Sigma males have an innate ability to see through facades, sensing when someone is performing or pretending. This is why faking interests, exaggerating achievements, or molding yourself to fit his preferences will only push him further away. Being authentic doesn't mean being perfect. It means embracing both your strengths and flaws without shame. If you're passionate about something, speak about it freely. If you're uncertain about certain aspects of life, own that uncertainty. True authenticity comes from living according to your values, not swaying with every external opinion. It's like walking barefoot on your path, grounded, raw, and real. Psychologically, authenticity is tied to self-congruence, a state where your actions align with your true self. Studies in human behavior show that people are naturally drawn to those who are genuine because it fosters trust and emotional safety. Sigma males value this deeply. They respect people who don't hide behind masks because they, too, live in their truth, even if it sets them apart from the crowd. Philosophically, Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The same applies to you. Don't chase an image. Embody your reality. A Sigma male will appreciate the quiet confidence of someone who isn't trying to impress, but simply is. By embracing who you are, you naturally stand out without effort. Tip 4. Support his goals without changing him. The Sigma male walks a path of his own, often one that others may not understand. His goals and aspirations are deeply personal, and he's not swayed by external pressures or societal expectations. To truly connect with him, learn to appreciate his journey without trying to mold or redirect it. Support him, not as someone who wants to fix or control him, but as a partner who understands his vision, even when the road feels unfamiliar. You can give him constructive feedback, but they already have plans to achieve their goals, so trust him and no need to change him. They already make calculated steps, and if you criticize, it can further slow it down. Support doesn't mean pushing your own ideals onto him or constantly questioning his choices. Instead, it's about being a quiet force of encouragement, someone who says, "I believe in you," even when no one else does. Small gestures, like checking in on his progress, sharing thoughtful words, or giving him space when he's focused, can speak louder than grand displays of support. Sometimes, all he needs is the calm presence of someone who trusts him to figure things out on his own. Psychologically, people are most driven to achieve their goals when they feel supported rather than pressured. This aligns with self-determination theory, which highlights that autonomy, having the freedom to pursue one's own path, is essential for motivation and fulfillment. Sigma males fiercely guard their independence, so any attempts to control or improve them will trigger resistance. Let him grow on his terms, and he'll appreciate your presence as someone who respects his choices. Stoicism also teaches us to respect what is within another person's control. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not attempt to change someone. Instead, accept them as they are, or walk away." Your role is not to design his path, but to walk alongside him. A relationship built on mutual respect allows both people to grow without overshadowing each other's dreams. By supporting his goals without judgment or control, you show that you value who he is and trust who he's becoming. This balance, being his quiet strength without trying to rewrite his story, will earn his deepest respect and admiration. Tip 5. Give him a deep tour. A Sigma male isn't interested in surface-level connections. He craves substance, conversations that make him think, challenge his perspective, and feed his curious mind. To truly capture his attention, you need to go beyond the ordinary and connect with him intellectually. This doesn't mean you need to be an expert in everything. Rather, it's about being genuinely curious, thoughtful, and open to exploring deeper ideas. Speak about your passions, the books you love, your thoughts on life, or even the mysteries of the universe. Sigma males are drawn to people who can hold conversations that go beyond daily routines or gossip. They appreciate individuals who have their own ideas and are unafraid to share them. Ask questions that inspire reflection, not interrogation. Questions that show you value his thoughts without trying to pry into his privacy. Psychologically, intellectual connection fosters deeper bonds because it activates cognitive intimacy, a state where two people connect through shared thoughts, ideas, and perspectives. Research shows that conversations with intellectual depth enhance feelings of trust, connection, and emotional satisfaction. For a Sigma male, who tends to live in his mind, this kind of connection feels rare and magnetic. Stoicism encourages the pursuit of wisdom as the highest form of fulfillment. As Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Engage with a Sigma male by truly listening to his thoughts, challenging him gently, and adding your own perspective. He values someone who doesn't simply agree, but who brings something meaningful to the table. When you connect with a Sigma male on an intellectual level, you show that you are more than fleeting charm. You are a person of depth. It's not about knowing all the answers. It's about asking the right questions and being unafraid to explore ideas together. That, for him, is where real connection begins. Tip 6. No drama, please. A Sigma male lives a life free of unnecessary noise. Drama, whether through emotional games, overreactions, or constant conflict, has no place in his world. He values peace within himself and with those he lets into his life. To connect with him, you must embody emotional maturity, the ability to handle challenges with calmness, communicate without manipulation, and navigate emotions without losing yourself. Emotional maturity doesn't mean suppressing feelings. It means expressing them clearly and honestly without creating chaos. If something bothers you, speak about it with a calm mind instead of bottling it up or exploding later. A Sigma male respects someone who can face conflicts with grace, seeking solutions instead of spiraling into blame or unnecessary tension. Think of it like still water. Your emotional presence should soothe, not stir storms. Psychologically, people who exhibit emotional stability create a safe environment, fostering trust and connection. Sigma males, who already find comfort in solitude, are highly sensitive to emotional turbulence. Emotional contagion, a phenomenon where moods spread between individuals, can trigger withdrawal if they sense chaos or immaturity. On the flip side, emotional calmness draws them in, creating a space where they feel understood and at ease. The Stoics taught that our emotions are within our control if we respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you demonstrate emotional strength, you show the Sigma male that you are not ruled by chaos, but by self-awareness and wisdom. Being someone who avoids unnecessary drama doesn't mean being passive. It means choosing calmness over chaos and solutions over blame. For a Sigma male, this emotional stability is not just refreshing, it's essential. You become a haven in his world, a person whose presence brings peace instead of noise. And that, in itself, is magnetic. Tip 7. Show emotional strength. In the last point of this part 1, let me give you a deep tip. To attract a Sigma male, you must understand the value of emotional resilience, the quiet ability to endure life's storms without losing yourself. Sigma males are naturally strong-willed and self-reliant, and they admire those who can match their emotional strength without becoming dependent. This doesn't mean you should hide your emotions. It means learning to carry them with grace, like a river flowing steadily around obstacles without losing its course. Emotional strength is about handling challenges with composure. Life will test you, as it does everyone, but the Sigma male respects those who respond with clarity instead of collapse. If you're faced with setbacks, show him you can process the pain without being consumed by it. If he opens up about his struggles, hold space for him, not to fix, but to understand. A calm, steady presence is far more comforting than overreacting to life's chaos. If you create dramas in small matters, you can't attract or keep a Sigma male. So, have strength. The Stoics viewed emotional resilience as essential to life's balance. As Seneca wrote, "A man is as unhappy as he has convinced himself he is." Emotional strength lies in mastering your perception, understanding that pain and challenges are inevitable, but your response is always your choice. For a Sigma male, emotional strength doesn't mean being unfeeling. It's the quiet power of someone who can hold themselves together without leaning too heavily on others. He will recognize this strength in you not as competition, but as compatibility. Be his equal, steady, composed, and capable of weathering storms. Because a relationship grounded in emotional resilience is one where two souls can grow, not just survive. Thanks for watching.